Rika and
Jessicarabbit.
welcome back to another episode of Soul Healer Podcast. It's your girl Rika and
Jessicarabbit. Hey y'all.
hey. What's going on, girl? You're looking luscious and lovely and summery.
Yeah, so the skin is getting nice and melanin is nice and brown now, no longer looking like raw chicken.
Raw chicken. Yeah, I'm all tanned and stuff, been having a top down, but I've been spraying, my sunblock, sunscreen.
You do? I don't.
I spray sometimes. I don't need one arm burnt and then the other arm.
Yeah, that's probably what's wrong with me. One side, and then I will have to try to drive on the other side to make sure the other side gets nice and toasty. Yeah, because one leg will be darker than the other leg. Yes.
Yes, I'm trying to be good. And then my mom gave me these glasses for Mother's Day. And she was like, yeah, girl, they got RV protection. I was like, what? You mean UV?
No, the RV, you never know when the RV gonna come right at you. Like
3D. So yeah, they got UV protection. So I'm trying to, I'm getting older, trying to be responsible, because I don't know how responsible I was as a kid.
I wasn't. No.
Irresponsible.
Yeah. I don't think I did any sunscreen or, every so often, maybe at the beach, but not on my everyday. And then they had, Coppertone has one that had like the glitter in it. So I only got that because it had the glitter. So I would use that because it would be like nice and sparkly, look like.
Fast.
Yeah, look like you went to a strip club and said, yes.
But yeah, we gotta we talking about all these moles and stuff popping up all over the place. So, we gotta make sure we taking care of ourselves.
Yeah. Yes. But
even got the chapstick with the RV protection. They'll just snort. With the UV protection. Sorry, mama. All right, I'm gonna stop making fun of you.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna get you.
Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I meant.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna get old too, and your kids are gonna say the same thing about you.
I think I mess up words already. My husband keeps note of the stuff that I mess up. I think it's a Reddit post or something where people put what the word is supposed to be and what people say. So I think he has a collection of my mishaps. So whatever. How was your weekend?
It was nice. It was quiet. Y'all excuse me for a second. Technical difficulties. Now I know what was wrong. I don't have my light on. Remember I kept saying something's different? I'm like,
here we go.
Now y'all can see me. Hey.
There you go.
Yes, let me see. No, hold on. So this weekend, what was it? Father's Day weekend. The second annual, or I guess official, what was it?
Juneteenth?
Yeah, girl, yeah, because I totally forgot. Yeah, Juneteenth. And we really didn't do anything. I mean, we was home quiet. We went to get sushi on Sunday without the kids.
Nice.
Because we had to go to Apple twice. And I was happy because now it was a girl that was, of our melanin at Apple, and she was about to charge me $99 to fix Bubba's phone. And I was like, she said, oh, because you have Apple Care, but because like the female port of the phone was messed up, that it had to be under something and be $99. So I was like, all right, well, let me see if I can just upgrade my phone and give him my old phone since it's paid for. So I was like, I'll come back tomorrow if anything. So I came back tomorrow. The other guy did it, and he was like, he did a diagnosis test on it. He was like, oh yeah, the front camera ain't working, so I'm just gonna swap it out. I was like,
okay.
So I was like, okay,
this your intuitions.
Yes. It was as we said, no, we're going to maybe see if you can upgrade your phone, because he was like, the new 14 was supposed to be nice with the camera and doing content creation and stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool, that'd be nice to have. But then I'm glad he said that, because I saved money.
Yes, you save money by switching to Geico.
Yes, boom. Yes.
Yeah, we had a good time. We some friend of ours, well, Princess, she was on the podcast episode. Her husband had a annual Father's Day cookout at their house. So we went there. We were the first people there. We usually try to wait a little bit, but we were the first people there, and we did not leave. We were there for about 7 hours. I was like, oh my gosh, we were there forever. But it was so nice. They fixed up their backyard so nice. I was like, it's like a little oasis back here. They had the music playing. It was like you were going to different areas of the backyard, talking to some people over here, talking to some people over here, hanging over here. Girl, they had a microphone, so I was jumping on the microphone. Thought I was DJ Rika Fresh. Like, shout out to all the fathers out there. All the cooks out there, I was rapping and rhyming. My husband was like, put the microphone down. I was like, I'm not my father. Every time he'd turn around, I'm back on the microphone.
Like a little kid. Are they looking?
What to do? Like, damn, I'm embarrassing him. But he know me. Everybody knows me. If there's a microphone, it's like a magnet. It's like,
yes,
supposed to touch it. I
wouldn't expect anything less than.
Yeah. No, I don't think anybody would. If you know me, you know me. But yeah, we had a good time, and the kids came. So my daughter came with her boyfriend. She ended up leaving, and she was like, "We're gonna come back. We're not doing anything else." So it was good for the whole family to be there, and just hung out. Sunday, I cooked, and then cooked again. And I was like, okay, let me let him chill and enjoy his day, because after today is over, it's just like no more. But yeah, we just hung out, had a good weekend. It was a chill weekend. I was sewing and making more stuff, so can't complain at all.
That's good. I know on the way to Apple, my husband listens to Joe Budden podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about Sukihana and how I forgot his name that quick.
Girl, ykosiris.
Yes. Came up to her and like tongued her down like violently. And Sukihana is known, she's like hypersexual. So she's known for saying sex, and everything. All her songs are,
with the good coochie. That's her name, right?
Yeah. Yes. So, I guess men hear that and they think they can come and do whatever they want to her, and she's supposed to accept it. And she said, I didn't say anything because I froze in that moment. And like, how many of us have been in that moment where you freeze up and you tense and you don't know what to say, what to do? Is okay, if I do this, is it me overreacting? If I do this, will they not have to press charges on him or something like that? I mean, that happened to me one time. I was teaching and working at the after school program. This kid was like in 8th grade, pinned me against the wall and was like gyrating on me and saying, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm doing this. And his mother had the nerve to say, well, I see that you're cute and I understand. I'm like, you understand? No, you are raising a predator, honey.
What the fuck?
Yes. I mean, it was bad enough I looked really young. So I didn't look my age. So I'm like 20, 21 years old, looking like I'm 17, 18 years old. So that even younger at times. So they didn't understand that I am an adult, but he shouldn't have been doing that anyway. Mm-hmm. And then I was at church one time and this kid brushed up like he did it purposely against my behind. Now, my shorts were long. Both times I was dressed appropriately, whatever consider appropriate is. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, so what do you do? We all been in that situation. So I'm like, just because I dress, okay, I wear the uniform for the team, doesn't mean I'm playing on the team. Mm-hmm. Some women like to dress like that. If they have curves, if, they got, part of the big city committee, they like their girls out, they like their friends or girls with the apple bottoms, you always like the curvy stuff on you because you want to accentuate what you have.
Yeah.
So me looking good to myself doesn't warrant you to come and touch.
Don't matter. Just don't touch it. Like, You can see it, you can look, but you don't have to. That is not an invitation. Like my mother used to say when I was younger, like, you are false advertising. And I'm like, how do you false advertise something you have, something that is you? Like, that's not false advertising anything. But you can wear something and feel sexy and not warrant somebody to take action without your permission. Like, no, I didn't give you permission to do that. So, like, no. And I'm gonna pop it up on the screen because for some people, they might not have seen the whole clip of what he did. Because at first, I was kind of like, they might be overreacting, because I only saw when he kissed her on the cheek, tattoo. And I heard, I think it was Lil Duval, whatever his name is. He was like, I know I done seen somebody skeet on that side of her face before. And I was like, he ain't have to say that. Like, come on now. But that was the only part I saw. And I was like, okay, are they overreacting? It was a little kiss on the cheek. But then I saw this video. And I saw this video and I was like, oh, he went for the mouth more than once, and like literally grabbing her face, and she's pushing away like, oh my gosh. People were like, well, she was literally just saying she would tear his ass up and she would do this and like trying to little boy him, like, little boy, I tear you up, you don't want none of that and whatever. And so it's like, But then somebody he worked with, did you see the video of the girl that used to work for him?
No, I didn't see that one. What happened?
She came up on social media. I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram or something, but she was like, yes, I'm glad that somebody is making it known how he acts, because when I worked for him, he used to do inappropriate stuff to me that I didn't give him consent for, but I felt like nobody's going to listen to me. He is who he is, and he's going to get away with it. So I don't want to make myself look like I'm trying to get attention or whatever. She was like, but now since it's in the public eye, and I think that's a lot of Bill Cosby people and all, like, they're like, oh, somebody else spoke up. So now I can speak up and it won't look crazy on me. But, and this was also before I saw the extended video. I'm like, okay, but you online in your underwear. Like, it was like some little boy Calvin Klein style underwear and tank top or whatever. I'm like, you could have delivered the message a little different, but I'm like, okay, it's still what she wanted to wear, is what she chose. It doesn't mean that she asked for it. So it was like, I was on the fence a little bit trying to see both sides, but I was just like, that video,
yes.
No, you did not have a right to do that.
No, he didn't. Even though she was saying all that, that doesn't give you to do that right in front of everybody. But that shows you he's gotten away with it too many times. So that could have been the same kid that did that to me when he was in 8th grade, and his mother just brushed it off as, oh, he's being a man. He has hormones. He can't control himself. No, you're raising a predator, lady, because it's going to come time to when he rapes a girl, then what? Then what are you going to say?
Right.
He didn't know what she was asking for. What did she have on? They always say, what did you have on? Or what did you say? What did you give off to them to think that they could get it from you?
Right. Then you got Trey Songz, and then you got all these other people like, well, why were you in his room? And why were you doing this? And why were you doing that? And it's like, yeah.
But why did he take me back to his room? Why did he invite me to his room? Like, so why aren't you asking these men these questions as well? Did you let her know that you wanted this done prior to coming to the room? Like, why put it all on the woman?
Yeah, but this was in the spotlight. And if you clearly look at the video, you could see that Lil Duval could tell something's going on beside him. And he's turning away, turning a blind eye, literally, like most people do. Most people's teams do. R. Kelly's team did it. Like, acting like you don't see what you see, but it's clearly something going on over here. And then you making comments belittling her too. But the other people are like laughing. So you could tell they were just as stuck as she was. Like, but then I see a podcast or something that was like, if y'all was real men, y'all would have knocked him out. Like, y'all should have protected that sister.
Yeah.
she could have protected herself. You don't seen Suki go off on people, but it's just like, damn, who defended her? Who protected her in that moment?
And you don't know what happened to her as a child or a teenager for her to freeze and go back into that moment. Because a lot of women will say, I freeze and I just allow it to happen so it can happen faster, get it over with, and I'm alive at the end of it. So a lot of men, like my husband's like, I don't understand this. I'm like, it's because you're not a woman. You have never been put into a compromising situation where you're just like, okay, get it over with, do this, be done. I'm sick of this. Just do what you got to do. And you guys don't understand because you're a man. You're not going to understand unless that has been taken from you.
Exactly.
I mean, I felt for her. And then she said she didn't know how she wanted to react because, oh, you overreacting. And then they're going to bring up her verses like they would do with Little Kim and Foxy Brown. But what does that have to, what comes out of my mouth? What does that have to do with what happens to my body?
She's an entertainer. She's like, we know sex sells, but it does not mean that I gave you permission to do anything. Like, no, it's not an open message. Like, come on over here and just take it. Like, no. And it was a platform. Like, they up there with microphones and stuff. He wasn't even supposed to be up there. So it's like, what was all that for?
You want to get his? I guess, you know, maybe he felt that she would not push him off or, you know, reject him. He may have been afraid of rejection because, you know, like you say stuff and you're just talking just to talk because it sounds good. Or did she reject him before? So he said, okay, I'm going to get you where now you can't reject me. You know, I don't know. I mean, I know, like, this is the other thing I didn't understand. Like, growing up in the church, I told you, Pentecostal really strict. So you had to have 3/4 length shirts on at all times. You couldn't have a spready string shirt. You had to have a sweater on. Your skirt had to be below your knees to your ankles, you know, never above your knees. Like, because you don't want to, or nothing tight, no pants, because the pants will show the V of the vagina. So, you know, nothing that will entice a man to want to have temptation and just do whatever he wants to you. I'm like, so why do I have to do that? And he can walk around looking however he wants. Like, I'm not, my elbow is going to get you that turned on. My kneecap's going to get that turned on. My ankles. I mean, come on. It's horrible how they criminalize women. Like, you all just walking around here just flaunting it, you know, you don't know what you're walking around with. Like, even old men, as a little girl, old men would say things. Like, I was 15. I remember this, 15 at the Philadelphia airport. I was picking up my best friend at the time. And this old man in security was like, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm fine. He said, oh, I know you are. I asked you how you doing. I'm clearly a little girl.
Wow.
And it's like, you men are disgusting. I mean,
do you think she should press charges?
See, if she felt as if her boundaries were crossed and she did not warrant it and she did not want it, she didn't tell him privately, sure, you can come kiss me. If not charges, she should speak up and say, that was unacceptable. Please don't do it again. If it happens again, I will press charges. I understand you mistook my words as an open invitation. It's not. This is what's to happen again. I will have to seek some type of stuff. I mean, but it's hard, like you said, because if you do it, then now you're overreacting. She has a career, so a lot of them feel like if I do this, nobody's going to want to work with me.
Yeah. But it's like, if you don't do something, it's like giving your power away. Because I don't know if I mentioned it before, but a situation, it wasn't the same, but a situation where somebody was taking pictures of me without my permission. And at first it caught me off guard. I was like, is this what's going on? Like, what? This is weird. And I'm like, should I address this? But I didn't want to make it more awkward. And then I mentioned it to my husband. I mentioned it to a few other people, and they were like, I would have been like, you know, don't be taking no pictures of me. You better delete that from your phone. And I was just like, and that's that tiny part of me that wants to avoid conflict or confrontation. Because I'm like, okay, if I've never been through this before, how do I really know in that moment how to respond or react? So I was like, okay, if it happens again, then I'll address it. And then it happened again. And I was just like, the silly part of me is like, you're not gonna bother, it's not gonna bother me. I was just like, let me pose. Like, act like I could tell you taking a picture of me, like, I got you, and I'm posing. I'm like, let me go ahead and pose for the picture. So I'm like, no. You need to address this. And I'm like, call your power back, call your power back. I'm like, I'm gonna ask you, were you taking a picture of me? And then they flat out was like, yes. Like, why? Well, I did it because if I asked you, it would have been weird. Or like you might have said no. And I'm like, so that's your answer right there. Like, don't do it. It's like, okay, I still don't know how to respond now because I didn't expect them to admit it. So it took me some time, and I'm like, okay, let me just text, because I'm not in that person's space. So I'm like, hey, what we discussed the other day, it was not appropriate. Delete the pictures and don't take any pictures of me without my permission. But I felt good about that. It took me some time because it was still something I had never experienced before. And I was like, I don't know what to do. But I could be quick to give somebody else some advice. But I'm just, this is uncomfortable.
Yes, I agree with that. It's easy to give other people advice, but then when it's for you, you're like, okay, is this me being, taking things too far? Did they really mean it, or was it no harm? I mean, I've been grabbed up at the club before, and it's just like I hate that. I hate that vulnerable feeling. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then to me, men feel like they can do whatever they want. Because you don't see women going up, like lesbian women going up to other lesbian women, just tonguing them down in the open because she says she wants
Right.
the box. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that. So it's men. Men take it too far, like, oh, I'm masculine, I'm the alpha man, I'm gonna make you submissive, I'm gonna make you do what I want. And I'm like, no, I mean, would he have started humping her if she would have allowed it? Like, if she would have went in for the kiss,
Right.
how far would it have went if she would have leaned in for it and accepted it? You know, and did he care that he felt the tension? I mean, I guess when he kissed the cheek and she didn't push, and then I don't know. I don't. That's
Yeah, because I was like, what part came first? I saw different clips of the video. So I didn't know what part came first. Did he kiss the cheek? Because it looked like when he kissed her cheek, he kind of walked off. So did he come back, or did he do all that other stuff first and then like, all right, I'm gonna kiss her cheek as a little apology and then walk away? I don't know. I gotta look at the whole clip, but I only saw bits and pieces of it.
yes, and like oh God, that is like it pissed me off. And Melissa Ford was like, that she received a lot of that because of the fact that she was a video vixen, and a lot of these men just thought they can rub up on you, or once the camera comes on, oh, I can do this and do that to you because you have to take this because this is what you are, this is what you want to be, this is what you're trying to sell, and it's horrible. I remember my mom had a friend in high school that she was a model. She was a what's it called, runway model,
Mhm.
and went back to her class reunion. She's like, "Oh, my daughter wants to do modeling." And she was like, "Well, tell her to stay away from the casting couches." She said, "Those things are real."
Mm.
And I was like, "Huh?" She's like, "Yeah, they're real." And some men will want that. And I was watching, what was it? What's her name? Marilyn Monroe's story,
Mhm.
and how they did her. And I'm just like, whew. And then Anna Nicole Smith. And I'm like, you guys do whatever you want to these poor little girls that just want to make some money. And they've been told that they're pretty all their life. And so, okay, I'm going to use this to my advantage. But I mean, it doesn't warrant for you to want to hump on me
Mhm.
or pass you around. It's like, I mean, what do you think? Like, do you think she should press charges?
I feel like the public response, and he gave an apology and all that stuff, and she addressed it. I think that pressing charges will be, I don't think that she has to right now. I think that because it was in the spotlight, he's already getting reprimanded by everybody. Like you messed up your name. You've been canceled for a couple of weeks or something. So I think that's just, he's being reprimanded already. So I don't think that pressing charges at this moment will be necessary. But let's say if it happened behind the scenes and, people are asking all these questions, they don't believe her and stuff like that, then if she wants justice in a different type of way, then yes, pressing charges will be good, or a peace order or something like that. But at least it made other people aware to be careful, to watch out, so that this doesn't happen to you. And it sucks that she had to be that person to bring it to the light. But for other people who might not have that platform, if something like that happens to you, yes, press charges.
It's like when you wake up and somebody's on top of you and you're like, what's happening? What's going on? Like, oh no, go back to sleep. You're all right. You're just dreaming and you're like, what's going, like, oh, you just laying there and the cat was just there and cat was purring and I'm like,
oh Lord.
What am I asleep? How's the cat purring and I'm asleep, So it's like sometimes, and then like, oh, well, if you're in a relationship, that's fine. And it's like, oh, okay, to each his, I don't know. It hard.
Depends on what your boundaries are in your relationship. Like some people like that kinky shit. Some people like to be woke up out their sleep. Some people, like, I've heard of a man saying he woke up and somebody was on top of him, and I was like, how did that happen? But I guess for men, their body responds different ways when they sleep or when they wake up and stuff like that. So I had never heard of it happening to a man before until then. I was like, and it happened multiple times. Like, okay, that's different, but I never knew. So if it happens to a man too, yes, you need to file something.
Yes. And then I hope this doesn't open up the can of worms to other men trying on her. Like, sometimes it's like, okay, you be the test on me to see if it happens. And then so somebody else comes and does it. Well, you ain't, and then it's gonna be like, well, you ain't press charges against him, so why you press charges against me? So now you just opened yourself up to like, okay, is everyone gonna do this to her? Or now does she have to change her lyrics? Is her PR team gonna, oh, I think you should, put out a little, what do they always do? Get on a gospel album. Make everybody feel like
Suki on a gospel album. No.
like Nicki Minaj did something on a gospel song. I was so surprised to hear that. Yeah, I gotta find it. Nicki Minaj is on a gospel song. And I'm like, Nicki, what the? Okay. I would never think that. I don't know why she did that, but yeah.
I don't remember if you sent it to me or it was something on, did somebody else sent, but it was some girls reenacting how men treat women. So a guy was walking down the street and the two girls was like, hey, what's up? Oh, you ain't going to talk. Oh, you probably got a little and was going off like, my pussy pink, my booty hole brown. I was like, what in the world? But it was literally showing how guys do this to women, even with the construction workers, like, woo-hoo, hey. It's like, you don't know whether you're talking to a kid or a grown-ass woman, but it's like, why is that okay?
Yeah, cat calling, and it's always, and then I like it when the men get to see what it looks like, because hopefully that will stop it. I mean, I've known men to ask a girl that was eating lunch, and he was like, "Oh, that looks like it tastes good." I'm like, was that warranted? Like, she's eating her food in peace. Like, why do you have to say that to her? Or I wish I was that sandwich. I wish I was that jacket. Like,
what the hell?
I've gotten some really like off the wall stuff said to me, and it's like, and I know I think I said it on here before. My daughter, my oldest one, I think she was like 7 or 8. And this guy came up to her and was like, "Oh, you're pretty. You look just like your mom when you get older." Oh, wow. And like she clinched up and like froze. And I grabbed her and I said, "You're okay. Mommy's here. Nothing's going to happen to you. I promise you." And I smiled, I said, thank you. And, I said, we're gonna leave, but you don't scream, don't bring any attention to it. Just let's walk. And I felt so bad for her because that was her first reaction. And it was just like, what do I do?
Mhm.
Because it's like she didn't know what to say. It's weird, a grown man looking at like, you predator. Why are you looking at a little kid and then looking at her mother like, okay, yeah, that's what she's gonna look like when she's older. So
And it's
it's
like you don't know what's genuine nowadays because some people just cross the line. So can you give a genuine compliment without somebody thinking you're fucking what is it, Chester the molester? Like, so it makes it bad for the good ones because
exactly.
like, but then yeah, when you cross the line with your hands, when you're physically touching somebody and you're doing too much, you smacking somebody on the butt, you trying to give them a hug. Like I think Big Guy was on here and he was talking about when it comes to boundaries and flirting. And he was like, yeah, if you hug somebody and your hands go to the waist instead of the middle back, you're doing too much. So it's like, yeah, people should know that. Like, don't be moving your hands down lower. Don't be trying to go to the dip in the back. Like, no, that's too much.
Yes. Or like when you're trying to get through the aisle and like the men don't step out, they stand up like so
Mm-hmm.
the brush against them, and it's just like it's too much. And you as a woman, you just feel like, why do I have to go through all this? And you go through it as a child all the way up into old age. Because I mean, even some of them old people are nasty, like the people at the senior housing that my mom lives in. Oh my gosh. I remember when my nana was alive in her senior complex, they had a whole seminar on STDs and having to wear condoms because you can still get an STD at this old age. And I was like,
Old men be sticking their tongue out.
yeah, like, oh. I'm comparing to what I said. She was like, yeah, it's like, ew. And then, you know what? I made that comment. It says, like, okay, he just looks like the type you go, ew, just hurry up and get this over with so I can pay my
Right.
rent. So it's like, ugh, I don't know. And then it's like, but then sometimes you ever get like, I didn't get a compliment. So does that mean I'm ugly or am I too fat now? So it's like, okay, if you're used to getting all these cat calls and it stops, then you're like, well, I must be really fat now. Nobody's holding the door for me. Nobody's cat calling me. So then
I would ever think that. But some people might. Some
I know
people
I did when I got bigger. When I was heavier at one time, I wasn't getting the cat
looking
calls.
for it.
Yeah, it wasn't like I was looking for it, but I was so used to getting it that when it stopped, it was like, what's going on here? Nobody's holding the door for me. Nobody's saying anything to me. Okay, I really must look like Harriet the Hippo.
No, you probably had that RBF on.
She looked hungry. She looked like she didn't want to something about 10 piece. You better leave her alone. Let it go get. So I'm like, okay, maybe that was it. And they're like, oh, so you're searching for attention. It's like, no, I'm not searching for attention. I just have gotten it so often that I think when it didn't come, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, but you can wear a baggy t-shirt, sweatpants, your hair tied up, and they still are going to say something. What do they say? If you don't feel good, go down to the gas station in the hood. And local crackheads, hey mama, and they make you feel like you a superstar. Like, got my cat call for today. Yep.
So
Give
stupid.
a little
So I want to ask you a question. This was something my husband brought up to me the other day. And I guess it's still dealing with boundaries and not people doing things that just aren't appropriate. But he said, if you were out with your friends, let's say you go into a bar or something, and a guy is pouring shots in females' mouths, like, would you allow a guy to pour a shot in your mouth?
Younger me, yes. I would say yes. Younger me, yes. Older me now, no, probably not. I mean, I just look at it like, you can put it in a glass,
Right.
Younger
Give
me,
me a shot glass or pass the bottle to me. I'll figure it out. I'll get a cup.
yes, because I was the girl that, oh, I can pick up this shot glass with my mouth, no hands, watch this, and it's not gonna spill and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, young me, yes, 20-year-old me, woohoo. you know, yeah, I would do it. But now,
He asked me that, and I was just like, no, I don't think so. But younger me probably would have. Like, okay, I'm not gonna put my mouth on the bottle, whatever. Just go ahead, do the little waterfall or whatever. Just go ahead and, when it's dripping, I'll walk away. But he was just like, no, like, because they were asking, it was a guy on a podcast, and I guess he was like, his girl went to Freaknik back in the day, and then, it was a picture or something of getting the shot poured in their mouth, and he was like, did you do that? She's like, yeah, it wasn't nothing. Like, nah, man, you need to leave her. Like, if she was at Freaknik and she, I'm like, but I guess if you're in the moment, everybody's drinking, you're in the moment, you're not looking at it as something inappropriate, but it's still one of those boundaries. Like, what is the point? Why is this guy doing this? Why does he feel that that's acceptable? And then it's like, if she told her man about it, she felt comfortable enough, like, yeah, I did it too. She didn't think nothing about it, but he's looking at her like,
that's when you learn not to say certain stuff. You like, yeah.
That's what he said. He was like, some stuff you just keep to yourself. But I was like, well, what if a woman did that to a man?
Then they'll go, I got something else you can put in your mouth. That, like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you like to have something in your mouth, huh? So men don't see that. Some men do try to act like, they're just so reserved and, oh no, I would never do that, and and well, that's a girl you can have fun with, but you can't bring her home. I can't wait to see this Freaknik documentary.
Ooh, people was trying to get them not to put that out there. Now they incorporate and all this other stuff. So it's like, yeah, I want to see it too.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see all y'all. Y'all had fun. It was y'all time. What are you so worried about? I mean, if your husband is really going to leave you over that,
they thinking jobs firing them because it's giving bad publicity and all this other stuff.
Man, please. I don't know what it is. What year was that? From 92 to 97, 98?
Yeah, I think so.
I just missed
my cousin and her friends went. I was like, I
know, I did too.
Girl, sit down.
I went to go to Greek Week in Philly, and I wanted to do Freaknik, and it was, you can't go, you're too young. Like, what? Go. It sounds like fun. You dancing on the hood of cars and stuff.
Right. Like,
that.
Act like you want to look videos. Like,
I want to do hood rat things with my hood rat friends.
But yeah, we want to know what you guys think. If you haven't seen the video, the one we popped up on here, but you can look at the whole video. Like, I need to look at the whole video. But let us know what you think. Do you think Suki should press charges? Has something like this ever happened to you? Did you feel like you got justice for it? If
or
you
men, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Men, have you done this before? And now that you're older, how do you feel? Say the younger you did that.
You think they'd be honest about it?
You could say your friend did it.
Yeah, your friend did it. And how did you respond? Did you check your friend? Did you say, nah, man, that ain't cool? Like, what did you do?
You just say, ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. I mean,
about to run a train on a choo-choo. Like, you see, Ebony ain't asked for it in Players Club. Like, just because she was a stripper didn't mean nothing.
And even Diamond didn't ask for it either. And,
Yeah, so yeah, for strippers, people, dancers, entertainers, like, has this ever happened to somebody whether they were working? I understand you giving lap dances and stuff like that, but some stuff is just too much. You're crossing boundaries. And do you feel it's acceptable just because this is the person's line of work? Like, some escorts feel like, okay, I'm here to be your date. I'm here to be your arm candy and stuff like that, but no sex is involved. Do you feel like, okay, well, if I'm paying you, then you're going to do whatever I want you to do? Like, how y'all feel about that?
That's true.
Let us know what y'all think.
Please.
Suki, we got you, girl. It was not right.
No.
UNITY. UNITY,
that's a unity. Like, you fine. Another black woman from the Philippines. Who you calling up, bitch?
Like I said, it don't matter. Just don't touch it.
Yes, you can look. We can do this without touching.
Yes, just don't touch it.
That's my motto. You can do this.
Play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it.
You-
All right, I'm gonna keep adding different songs into here, but you know what? Until next time, we will see you and speak with you later.
Bye.